Hello, my name is Andreina Adames, a student of modern languages at the Pan American University of Puerto. And today I would like to share with you a bit about polysystem studies and its contribution to translation studies. The term polysystem was developed by Itamar Ibn Zohar in the 1970s, building on ideas from structuralism. A polysystem is a concept that treats a culture's literature as a complex, multi-layered system where various elements or genres interact. Even Zohar proposed that literature isn't insulated but interconnected, forming part of a dynamic cultural system influenced by factors like politics, history, and social change. So, what does this relate to translation? In polysystem theory, translated literature is seen as an integral part of this system, meaning that translations interact with the original works, genres, and cultural norms of a society. Translation is not just a linguistic act, but a cultural one, with translation positioned in specific ways within a socialist literary system. This approach was groundbreaking because it shifted the focus from the linguistic aspect of translation to a broader cultural and systematic view. How polysystem theory shaped translation studies. Polysystem theory has had a significant impact on translation studies by encouraging scholars to think beyond the traditional ideas of faithfulness in translations. Instead, it focuses on where and how translated work fits into the receiving culture. According to Ibn Zohar, translated literature can occupy either a central position within a literary system. When translations are central, they play an important role in shaping or innovating the literary norms of the target culture. For instance, when a culture lacks certain genres, such as science fiction or detective novels, translated works might fill this gap, introducing new ideas and styles. On the other hand, when translations are peripheral, they conform more closely to the existing norms of the receiving culture and may have less influence. This central peripheral positioning idea introduced the concept of translations as an active participants in culture's literary development, a perspective that was relatively new. Key contributions of polysystem theory to translation studies. Now, let's talk about three key contributions of polysystem theory to translation study. First, it opened the door to understanding translation as a cultural activity. Translators don't just cover words, they shape text to fit the norms, values, and expectations of the target culture, meaning they play a vital role in cultural exchange and adaptation. Second, polysystem theory has led to the idea that translations are often motivated by the target culture's needs. For instance, if a culture is undergoing a period of reform or change, translation might be more central, introducing innovative ideas and perspectives. This insight helped explain why certain words are chosen for translation, shedding light on how translated literature can reflect the receiving culture's values and inspirations. Lastly but not least, the number three. Even Zohar's ideas paved the way for described translation studies, DTAs, a major branch within translation studies. DTS builds on the idea that translations should be studied based on actual practices rather than idealistic concept of equivalence. Scholars like Gideon Theory developed this approach further looking at translations as products of cultural systems with specific norms and constraints. This opened the door to analyzing translation as texts that reveal a lot about the receiving culture, rather than simply being good or bad based on fidelity to the source. Practical implications of polysystem theory in translation. Polysystem theory has had important implications for translators themselves. Translators who understand the cultural context and positioning of their work can make informed decisions of language style, formality, and structure based on their understanding of where the translation will fit in the target culture. For instance, if translating a novel from English into a language where contemporary fiction is underdeveloped, a translator might adopt innovative language choices to help establish this genre in the target culture. To sum up, polysystem theory has made substantial contributions to translation studies by broadening the understanding of translation as a cultural situated practice. It introduced the idea that translations function within a target culture's literary system, either reinforcing or transforming it. By examining where translation fit within this system, we gain insight into the broader role of translation in cultural development. Today, polysystem theory remains relevant as it encourages us to see translation not just a technical skill but as a powerful cultural tool that writes words, influence cultures, and foster understanding. That is all. I hope you like my presentation and thank you so much for listening.